Morning, everyone. Welcome to our Business Power Hour. I'll do the bit first of all I always forget to do, which is introduce myself. So my name is Matt Callahan, and along with Steve Williams, who's also on this call, are the business support officers working for Swansea Council, but Business Swansea is the brand that we use. So our role is to run a series of business support events, which obviously includes the event that we're here today for, and along with the sister event as well, the Business Startup Enterprise Club that we run sort of every other 2 weeks apart from this. So we've got a huge number of people on the call today, more than normal. So we're going to change the format very slightly. We normally start off by getting everyone in the room to introduce themselves and go around. But if we do that, we'll use up half the time that we've got. So we'll do it slightly differently, and we'll get straight onto the learning topic. And then obviously, if you've got any questions at the end, just introduce yourself before you ask your question, so we know who you are. A little bit of housekeeping from me first of all. We are recording this session, and this, along with all the other sessions that we do through the Business Swansea, will appear on our YouTube channel in a few days' time. So if for any reason you don't want your face to be shown on the recording of this, just turn off your camera to avoid your face being shown. Just to avoid any feedback with regard to other participants in the room, if I could ask you to keep your microphones on mute during the presentation section, and obviously turn those off at such a point where you get to any questions at the end. And then what we normally do is ask the presenter to do their presentation in full, and then we'll take any questions at the end. So we'll make sure that we've got time to ask any questions at the end. So either if the question occurs to you during the presentation, you can pop that in the chat and we'll pick that up afterwards, or if you raise your hand at the end, and then we'll come to you with any questions that you've got. So I think that's all the housekeeping. There's a couple of bits that we'll tie up at the end, but I think there's quite a lot to cover. I'm going to learn today because I don't really know much about this topic, so it's a learning curve for me as well. So we'll get straight on with it. We'll hand across to Rebecca Wade from Purple Dog, who you might have seen or been at our previous sessions that we've done. We did one on getting started with Instagram Reels a few weeks ago. So if you wanted to go back and watch that as a sort of beginner's guide to Instagram, please do that. You'll find that on our YouTube channel. So hand across to Rebecca now. Rebecca will take you through the presentation that will sort of last half an hour or so, and then we'll come back and pick up any questions at the end of that. So Rebecca, across to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca from Purple Dog. Purple Dog help small and medium businesses unleash their online presence, mostly with social media training, workshops, and then website design. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and hope that this goes well. Can we all now see my slide getting started with Instagram Reels?
Yes, yeah, we've got that.
Yes.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover today. It's a very short amount of time, and I'm actually going to try and do a live demonstration as well. So that could go horribly wrong, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to cover what is an Instagram Reel, because if you're completely new to the topic, you kind of need to know what it is before you start. What is kind of the point of them? What are going to be the benefits for you spending your time on them for your business? And then we're going to look at how to make a simple reel and where you can perhaps go to learn more. It does perhaps have a steeper learning curve than some of the other elements of Instagram, and Reels, in case you weren't aware, are part of the Instagram platform. So in a nutshell, Instagram Reels are a way to create and discover short, entertaining videos. And when I say short, I mean seconds, not minutes. So you're kind of looking at them as mini videos. So they are, and nice little typo, I love a typo. So they started off as 15 and 30 seconds long, then they rolled it out to 60 seconds, and now they're slowly rolling out, extending it to 90 seconds, but 90 seconds is only a minute and a half. So it's not a very long video, and it's a lot to perhaps pack in to a short space of time to create something that's going to be of use and of value to your audience. Now, they can be recorded in a series of clips, or they can be a series of photos. So they can be video clips or photo uploads from your camera roll, and you can either have just one 90-second video that you kind of talk or record, and I'll show you some examples at a moment, or you can sort of clip a series of them together. And I'm going to attempt later to clip a series of short clips together so you can see how that works. So let's have a look at a couple of very different examples. So Reels can be for a number of different purposes, and I'll try and squeeze in some examples that you could perhaps utilize for your business and adapt to your niche at the end. But here are some very different clips. So the first one is just for fun, and this is quite a eye-catching transition. So I'll just play this one and hope it works. Get the ball, get the ball. What the heck? So you can see they're really short sort of clips, and some are longer than others, but that one was just kind of for fun and eye-catching with a doggy. This one is more a business talking about secrets to healing. So again, very short, quick, simple video with some tips, and they do have, like most Instagram posts, a caption at the end where you can find out more. This one is more of a behind the scenes of a business where they're packaging up their orders. And you'll note in that last one, good news for a lot of business owners, you don't actually have to be necessarily in front of the camera, and you definitely don't have to dance or point with Instagram Reels. There are lots of different formats and different ways of creating an Instagram Reel. And the more you scroll through Instagram Reels, the more sort of differences you'll see and formats that you'll be able to get ideas from to adapt for your business. So let's talk about why, first of all, before we get into how. So Instagram are really pushing Reels at the moment. They're trying to compete with TikTok, and that's what's kind of forced the issue. But because they are pushing the issue, you'll probably find that normal posts that you've been creating are perhaps been getting less and less engagement, where they're pushing to the forefront this short form video, which means that if you're looking to grow, reach new audiences, getting on board with Instagram Reels is definitely going to help you. Because one thing that's very different about Instagram Reels compared to your Instagram posts is they will be pushed out to many more people than who are just following you. So it's a way of getting greater exposure. So the algorithm is really favoring this short form content at the moment. So they can definitely help with growth, and they can definitely help you reach new audiences. And the whole of social media is slowly, whether you like it or not, sort of transitioning more and more towards video, as people kind of have this scrolling mentality where they go through things at lightning speed and they just want short, quick hits of information or entertainment. So that's why. Where can you find them? So on the Instagram app, there are a couple of places. Well, the main place that you can find them is front and center of your Instagram app. That button right at the bottom is where you'll find Instagram Reels. And one of the best ways to sort of learn a little bit about Instagram Reels and get inspiration for your business is to actually start by watching other Reels and seeing what other people do. And that's not saying that if someone's dancing and pointing that you have to dance and point, but it allows you to see sort of the format, get an idea for what catches your attention and what doesn't catch your attention, and different trends. Now, you don't have to use trends. I'm not going to use a trend when I put together my reel today, and I'm not even going to use music. I'm literally going to try and do a voiceover so you can see how that works, because that's more likely for most businesses. So you'll find them there at the center button, but you'll also see them popping up in your home feed. As you're scrolling through just your normal Instagram feed, you'll get shown and you'll probably notice it, more and more videos, but you'll also see them on the explore page, and on if you're following certain hashtags, they'll come up there too. So that's where you're going to find them. Now, a quick note about music, just so that you're aware. Certain music, because most of you are going to be businesses, you don't necessarily have the business rights, therefore, to use music royalty, the royalties for the music. So there are different types of account on Instagram that have different access to music. So personal accounts will have access to all the music, they're not a business. Creator accounts tend to have access to all the music, but business accounts can be restricted. So if you're finding you can't use certain music or trending music items as part of your audio, that's probably why. There is a slightly sneaky hack around it, because if you're a business and you're using like third-party tools to schedule other posts to your Instagram, you'll want to keep your business account, because a creator account won't allow you to do that, and a personal account won't allow you to do that. And of course, business accounts have really good features for Instagram, whereby they have map directions if you're a local business, and ability to email and call from the bio as well. So you won't necessarily want to use that. The hack I use to get around it is I've set my category to entrepreneur, and then hidden my category, because entrepreneur for some reason gets access to more music. So that could be a way around it if you're desperate to use certain types of trending music and audio. So a couple of perhaps techie tips, some bit more obvious than others. Reels are vertical, they are watched this way, so therefore you need to film portrait wise rather than landscape wise. So film your videos vertically. Instagram will favor reels with good lighting, so use a ring light or be near a window. You can, if you're trying to get into position to film a clip and you're not with someone else, there is a timer function which I can point out to you to get into position. That will count down from either 10 seconds or 3 seconds, and then you can start recording from there. You can use music where possible, ideally originating on Instagram. If you find that you don't have access to that, you'll kind of have what I call elevator music, which is royalty free, which is not kind of trendy music. And if you are creating videos on other platforms or other apps, obviously where you might want to download that and repurpose that on Instagram, they don't want to be advertising places like TikTok, or the algorithm will look for logos and watermarks across the video, so they'll penalize that unless you are generally a really big account. So if you're downloading from TikTok, it's best perhaps to create the video first and then upload it to TikTok, so you've still got the original video that you can upload to Instagram. So couple of perhaps obvious, but worth pointing out if you're completely new to Instagram Reels. So there are a few options for recording your reel, and you can use a series of photos like a slideshow as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be video. You can make a series, you can create a video from slideshow. So you can, of course, record on the app and pre-record and upload a video. Instagram has recently said, of course, it wants you to create content on their app first. So if you can do that, great. And they will know, and you can see which apps have made with different clips on the app, because there's now a template feature, which I'll show you when we go in. So they will favor that and push that more. But if it's a steep learning curve, if it's a time management thing, then you can upload videos made in Canva, you can upload a video and then add a voiceover, or you can use another app to record and string it all together. So something like InShot is a good app, so that it's, stringing it together if you're finding the Reels interface difficult to get on with and you're more familiar with something else. So quick how-to then. This, like I say, could be quite an interesting. So there are two ways to access, and I'm going to switch to my phone and show you my phone in a second. So you can access Instagram Reels to post Instagram Reels, both from the very top and the plus button, and then where you would normally do your normal posts or stories, and then you can create a reel. Or when you're in Instagram Reels, you can click on the camera icon at the top and go from there. So let me attempt to do some live demonstration using my phone. So I'm just going to bring up my phone onto ideally the desktop. So can we all now see my phone? Give me a thumbs up, Steve.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so going into Instagram then. So we have the Reels button down at the bottom. And if I click on that, I have no idea what's going to come up because it's just going to show me random. And I'm going to turn it down a bit so it's not. But you can see the camera at the very top. And that again is somewhere where I can go in to start recording a reel. So I'm going to go in this way so that you can see this. And what I find easiest to do is to plan your Instagram reel beforehand and even write your caption and everything ready. And obviously I've done that for this because otherwise there would be absolutely no chance of me trying to do this live at the same time. So I've kind of got my information planned in a Trello board already. So just giving you a kind of tour very quickly. At the very top, I'm going to try and point at the same time, on the left-hand side. So starting at the left-hand side, at the very top, you've got access to music. So that's where music will be, whatever access it is. Then the next one down where it says the 30, that's where you can set the time and length of your reel. So if you know you want to get it under 15 seconds, for example, then you can select 15. At the end of the day, it's probably easiest to select 90 because that's the amount of time that you've got, and then you're not restricted, and you can then you're not going to run over and have to start all over again. So sometimes selecting 90, even if your intention is to have a very short clip, is helpful. Then the next button down is the speed. So most reels get recorded in 1 times the speed, which means that it's recorded in normal speed. And then the 3 times, the 0.3 and the 0.5 are slower, and then the 2 times, 3 times, and 4 times are faster speed. So if you wanted for any reason to record something on fast speed, like demonstration or packing or something like that, so it plays it in faster time in a shorter space, but still shows what you're doing, then that's where you can do that. There are different grids that you can use, so you can record one half this side and then record a second video the other side. It's quite unusual to see that, but you can do some clever things. It's just making you aware of where that is. And then here is the timer, so you can set your countdown. So you've got a countdown of 3 seconds or a 10 seconds just by clicking on the countdown section there. And then you can set the timer so that when you then start recording, which is the bottom button, big and center. So if I now press that to record, I get a countdown of 10 seconds, so I can get into position if I want to use a tripod or something. And then what it's going to do is it's going to then start 1. Now I'm recording. And so it will now record up to 90 seconds until I click to stop it, because I've set it to 90 seconds. So, and then it will then, as you can see at the very top of the screen up here, I've got how much I've already recorded of that 90 seconds. And if I go next, I can watch my clip back. And this is then where I can add my text, add music if I hadn't already done so, and add any GIFs, stickers, captions, etc. So I am going through this really quickly because I'm aware that we've got a short amount of time. So I'm just going to discard that at the moment. So if there are also things like effects, and I'm just trying to, so different effects for different things, which you can have a play with. So things like coloured hair or a small smattering of makeup and things like that you can utilize and have a play with. That's where you'll find effects. So if you wanted to upload already created photos or audios, then you can do that from the very bottom where you've got your plus icon down here. And that is where you're going to find clips, basically your camera roll to scroll through. So in a second, I'm going to start utilizing that for you so that you can see how you put together a reel. I did briefly mention templates. And I'm just going to try and, well, I'll show you the last one that I made. So one new feature on Instagram Reels, which is proving to be a real time saver for people and businesses, is utilizing templates so they can just upload their own clips and videos to certain timings. So for example, this last reel that I created, I'm going to turn down the phone sound so hopefully you can still hear me. You'll notice, because I've created this in the app, there is a use template function towards the very, like a button above my icon. And if I click on that, and anyone can click on that, you can click on any reel that has that, it basically allows you to then, it's got all the timing set. So if someone's made a clip to some music that you want to use, you can then go in and add your own media. So this is where you can then go in and populate and recreate the same reel using your clips or your photos to be able to utilize that. So that can be a really good starting point for some people when they're unsure. And some you'll notice are just photos. So I'm just trying to find one that has photos. So this one, for example, just uses 4 photos. So this is a really easy one to start with, where you just literally will use the template and you'll upload 4 photos set to the music. So that can be a great starting point. So let's say you don't want to use music, you don't want to use a template, and you kind of want to start from scratch. So one reel that I am going to create is about batching reels. So I was going to create a reel about how to batch Instagram Reels, which is a tip that is useful to my audience. So I'm going to try and find now the clips that I pre-recorded, but I'm now going to string them together editing in the Instagram app. So the first one is do I record the voiceover first? Let's record some clips and I can always go back and edit if I need to. So actually I will record the voiceover first, I think. So I don't think I can. I think I've got to string it together. So here's my first clip. So let's just add them as full clips for the moment. So I've got clips to play with. And then the next one I want to use is, I've got to scroll back through all my photos to find it when I recorded it the other day. Dogs, you'll get all sorts on my camera roll, so bear with. I think it's back this way. Recents, can I go videos? No, I have to go favorite. I've saved it to my favorites to make it easier to find. No, other way. Right, so that's very long, so that will help. Okay, so then my next clip, so I'm going to try and do 4 clips. So then on my camera reel, back to recents, this one here. So I'm literally adding different clips and you can see them going on at the top at the moment. So I'm just finding them from my camera roll at the moment. Add. So if I now go next at the bottom, I can see all my clips together at the moment. They're all random clips doing absolutely nothing, don't necessarily make sense. And if you notice at the very bottom of the screen, I've got something that says edit clips. So from here, this is where I can add a new clip if I want to, or I can reorder the clips by dragging and dropping them with my finger, drag it back. And also here is where I can go into a clip and I can change the length of that clip by dragging the little edge tool. So I can set the time of that clip like so, or I can retake it if I've taken it here in this moment and filmed it if I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to go, or I can delete it. So I'm going to click done for a minute. And now I'm going to, whilst that's going, I'm going to go into audio. And actually, I don't want any of the camera audio on these clips. So let me go back into this clip. Done. Okay. I think it will do it for all of them. So I don't want any of the camera audio on all of those clips. I'm pretty sure. This one's a really long one, so I'm just going to trim that so it speeds up our done. So what I want to do now is I want to create a voiceover to this audio. Just make sure, yeah, so the camera audio is done. So this is where I could now add some music. So I could come into here now and I could select music at the bottom if I just wanted music to play over the top, and then I wanted to add some text, which quite frankly would be easier than what I'm about to try and do. Or I can record a voiceover. And so this is where I can record a voiceover literally as I'm speaking. And it can be my own audio explaining what's happening. So let me attempt to do this very quickly. Gather ideas, save the reels that inspire you, and save audio to use later. Plan. Go back to your saved reels and use a tool like Trello to plan out your ideas. How will you adapt an idea to your business? What your content goals for that month? Consider these as you plan the reels that you want to film. Filming. Set aside a few hours to film all the reels content that you need for the month ahead. Have a couple of outfit changes if you're getting on camera, or all the props you need to film. Then at a later time, set aside an hour to edit all your film footage together and add your text. Then all you need to do is set a reminder to publish your planned reels at the best time to reach your audience. So what I now need to do is ideally set my clips to that voiceover. So I'm going to click done. So ideally this one needs to be a bit longer. Go back to your saved reels and use a tool like Trello to plan out your ideas. How will you adapt an idea to your business? What your content goals for that month? Consider these as you plan the reels that you want to film. So that works quite well. Set aside a few hours to film all the reels content that you need for the month ahead. Have a couple of outfit things. Set aside. Ideally, that could be longer, but I haven't got the option because I haven't got the length. Changes if you're getting on camera or all the props you need to film. Then at a later time, set aside an hour to edit. I could potentially add that clip back in so it goes again and reorder. So let's just go back into reorder. So now if I bring that clip over here and click done. Right, so that works quite well now. And I can possibly cut out the dog here. Maybe not cut out the dog. The dog may have to stay. Think we may be there with the clips. Done. Yep, pretty much. So now I'm just going to turn down the volume because otherwise it gets really annoying when you hear yourself over and over again. So now I want to add some text. And the reason I want to add some text over the top of the reel is it's going to tell people when they start watching, particularly if they've got the sound off, what the reel's about and why they might want to carry on watching. So ideally hook them in to stay watching, because this is actually quite a long reel by some reel standards. So I'm now going to add some text, and I'm going to put on here how to batch your reels, because that's what this reel is about. And from here you can change the color, or you can pick out a color from your video. I'm going to, normally I like to use kind of branded colors, so pinks and purples. So I'm going to do that. Now, you'll notice as I drag my text, you have some guidelines, and it's basically telling you, don't put it above here because they could be writing over it, and don't put it below here because they'll be writing over it. So you can drag it to where you want to, and you can pinch and zoom it to make it bigger. Now, I find it easier to add all my text pretty much up front and then decide when and how it's going to come in and out. So I'm going to put number 1, gather ideas. And it helps if you spell right. So number 1, and then number 2, I'm now going to put plan. And now number 3, and I bet some of you are thinking at this stage, thank goodness it's been recorded and I can watch it back. Like I said, it is quite a steep learning curve, but the more you do, I promise you, the quicker you get. And then 4, edit and save. And now finally 5, publish. And then my call to action is to learn more in the caption, to actually get people to read it. That would be good. And I want a pointy hand. So I've now got all my text, but obviously it's overlaying and not in the right place, and it doesn't necessarily come on the screen when I want it to. So what I want to do first is, if I click on the bottom, so you see I've highlighted the how to batch your reels section. So again, same as the clips, I've now got the ability to drag, and this is a bit fiddly if you've got big fingers, where I want that to appear for how long. And then gather ideas. So this is where I need to move them all around so that I can see them. So part 1 is gather ideas. So let me go, and I've highlighted that, and I want that to come on, not quite straight away. And I'm going to have that change about there. So gather ideas probably needs to move up a bit. And then plan, I don't want to come in until after gather ideas. So again, I'm squishing the very bottom, or I'm trying to with my finger. So I want it to come on around here, plan. And I want that to go off. And then filming. So actually filming might be better off down here. And so filming, I don't want to come on first of all. I want it to come on about there, drag it to about there. And then edit and save, move up there, edit and save highlight so that I can get it to come on towards the end. And again, I won't want it to stay on very long. And then publish. Squeeze that so that it goes down to here. And I want it to come on there. And I will want it to go off, because what I really want people to do is to learn more in the caption, which now if I highlight. So I've done my text. Let's have a look. So now if I watch it back, I've got how to watch reels, gather ideas. So gather ideas could probably stay on a bit longer. So let's just make that stay on a bit longer. Done. So now plan is for the planning section. And then scrolling through, wait for it to check. So 3, filming, I probably want to come just slightly later. So let's just make that slightly later. And then edit and save will come on. And then I've got publish. And don't forget, I've got the sound. I've just turned it down so that I can talk to you. Right, and then learn more in the caption. Okay, so done. Quite happy with that on my quick random. So now I've got, if I go to the next stage, very important note, save draft. Okay. So it has now saved it to my drafts. So if I want to go back and find my drafts, I come to my own profile and I go into the Reels tab and I can go into my drafts folder where I've got some. So that you don't lose it, save it as you go along. The other thing is, if you exit Instagram, you log out of your profile or it logs you out for security check reasons, you will lose all your drafts. So another good tip is on this edit page, very top left hand button where it's got the download arrow, download to your camera roll. It will do it without your audio, but at least you'll have a copy with all the text over and your clips strung together. So those are very big tips. Right, so now I'm ready to write my caption. So I have actually planned this already. So I'm going to just copy and paste. And again, this is where you can add your call to action, explain a bit more about your clip. And again, you can add hashtags. So my caption, I'm going to paste. So what I've done is I've got save time back your reels. Here's how, gather ideas, save the reels that inspire you, save the audio for later, plan, go back to save reels and use blah, blah, blah. Filming. So I've sort of explained it again so people can read the caption. And then my call to action is need more help creating Instagram reels, use the link in my highlights to enroll in my safe self-paced reels course today. And then I've added my hashtags that are relevant for that. So edit, right, next. So I've got that in. Now I've got also a couple of other options at this stage. I can tag people if it's relevant. So if I've got someone else or I'm talking about someone else, or I've perhaps used someone else's photos, like I can any Instagram post, I can tag people or invite a collaborator at this stage. If you're working with a collaborator, another business, then you can invite them and your reel will appear on their feed as well. So but they obviously have to accept it, because otherwise people could just be tagging anyone. So you can tag people at this stage. because I've got original audio, I've not used music. At this stage, I can create my audio name. And I would always say, get your brand out there, but also say what it is. Now, the very nature of this audio is that no one's likely to use this themselves as training audio, but you might have an audio clip that someone does. I can add a location. So for example, I'm here in Llanelli, so I could add my location, which means that it will be shown to perhaps more people locally if that's relevant, or it will perhaps come up in hashtags. And if people are searching places, it will come up on the places. It's not relevant in this instance for a fundraiser. And because obviously I'm on Instagram, Facebook as well, it can be recommended on Facebook. I can turn that on and off to be shown. Might as well, because that's certainly going to help in terms of then people seeing it. Now, you'll also notice here, I can edit the cover. And that's not a particularly enticing cover. Perhaps I can upload one from my camera roll if I wanted to create one relevant, for example. That, however, is not in this case. So I'm going to actually select one from probably filming because it makes more sense. So I can grab a screenshot from the video. Probably there. So, and I'm going to publish it to my feed, my Instagram feed, which I'm not going to do in this case. I can then see how it will look actually on my grid and pinch and zoom and move it around so I can get it to look how I want. But in this case, I'm actually not going to share to my feed. So you can see here, share to my feed. And then all you do when you're ready is share to Reels. So I'm literally, it's not saved my cover. It might have done. Instagram can be glitchy. Just warning you. So I'm going to share to Reels. And then, fingers crossed, it's going to publish live as we speak. And you can see that going along. It's nearly finished uploading. Come on, internet, you can do it. Yes, come on. Right, so now if I go back to my Reels on my, I can see it's now live. So you've heard this enough times now already, but you can see I've got my caption. Turn that down. Got my caption where people can read more, and of course where people can like, share, comment, and equally a really good one for you is save. So if when you're scrolling you see a reel that you like and you want to save it either to use as a template later or to come back to for the music or to come back to for an idea, you can click save. And then to access your saved reels, you go to the top 3 lines, the hamburger menu at the top, and you've got your save tab here. And then you've got all the saved audio, so I've got all posts. Sometimes mine doesn't load because it's too big. And sometimes I have to refresh it. But basically you can then see your saved posts and go back to them that way if you haven't got too many saved like I have. Don't know if it's going to do it, but that's where you would see it. So you can see all the posts there. So like I said, I haven't published to my feed, so it's not shown on my grid. That's what that meant. But if I go into Reels, it is there displayed on alongside my other reels that are perhaps displayed to my grid. So that is literally how you would potentially create a reel. I'm going to stop sharing this and come back to slides very briefly before I come into questions, because I'm sure there are plenty. So let me just go back to share my desktop. Where is it? Where's it gone? Right. So couple of Reels ideas if you're thinking, well, that's great, but what can I do? What can I create for my business? So here are a few examples. And again, you can come back to this because it's being recorded. But for businesses, things like tutorial clips, a how-to, any tips you can share, highlighting your service or product, featuring on a particular feature or demonstrating how it works, showing it from different angles. If it's a physical product, you can announce something exciting coming up, whether it's an event or a launch. Before and after videos, so showing a transformation. So that's particularly good for construction or interior designers, or then even like physical trainers, for example, showing the difference between before and after on bodies, or makeup tutorials. So that works well. You can use trends, but where you see the same audio being used again and again, and only jump on that if it is right for your brand. But behind the scenes and aspirational and inspirational content. If you want to learn more and you want to make the most of Reels, I do have a course that you can go and learn at your own pace, and it's split into, I think it's 13 lessons, and there's 20% off for you if you sign on before the 28th of June. But now is a good time to take questions, I guess, in the remainder time that we've got left, and I can perhaps show anything that people weren't sure about. But it's a lot to squeeze into 40 minutes.
Great, thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, a lot of content there. And just to sort of reiterate the point that you made, that if you wanted to go back and watch this at your own leisure, it will be on our YouTube channel, probably beginning of next week. The video will be live, so you can go back and watch it, pause it, do it at your own leisure. We've got 2 or 3 questions in the chat, which I'll come to chronologically. Sarah says, can we use music if we are paying PRS license in our shop? Sarah, does that mean that if you've got a PRS license in your shop, does that cover you to use it for Instagram? Is that what you mean by that?
Yes, it does.
Right, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, Instagram won't know whether you've got a license or not and won't be able to check. So it will just base it on what type of account you've got. And some businesses, for some reason, do seem to have access to more music than others. And one sneaky way around it sometimes is people create their own audio, which is not strictly legal to use, and sometimes that will be the trending audio, but there is a risk that if someone reports it, it can disappear. So you just got to be a little bit careful. So unfortunately, no, just because you've got a license doesn't necessarily mean that Instagram will know that, and there's no way of getting a hold of them and having that conversation, sadly.
Can I ask another question? We've had some music composed for us.
That's fine.
For our website, so can we use that?
Definitely.
And
yes.
Is there any way of protecting that then?
No. Let me check. I say no. I've never tried to, but I think there is a way for you to not use audio. So you can turn off remixing and you can turn off commenting. I don't know. I'd have to double check.
Okay, thank you.
But you can definitely turn off remixing, will make it harder for someone to utilize that reel, and turn off commenting. But I'm not sure about the audio, because theoretically, if you put it up there, anybody else could use it.
Okay, fine, thanks.
Okay, and we've got a question about hashtags. I've lost it now. Basically, to what extent are they important or not, as the case may be?
I mean, it's one of those widely debated things at the moment. Basically, at the end of the day, hashtags aren't as magic as they used to be, where that was the only way of getting found and discovered. But they are still relevant in the sense that they're a way of you organizing your content and it being shown to others. And the very fact that you can follow hashtags. So if I bring back up my phone, for example, will it do it? Let's bring that down. Right. So if I bring up my phone, I can follow hashtags. So if I can follow hashtags, there is a chance, if I'm using that hashtag, of getting used. And particularly with local hashtags, if you're a local business, I've definitely, because I relocated from Southampton about a year ago, I have grown my local following by using local hashtags like hashtag Carmarthen, for example. So if I go in and search for hashtag Carmarthen, I can see all the top accounts that are using the hashtag Carmarthen, equally the accounts, the audio tags and places. So I can search that way. But if I go into Carmarthen, you'll notice I'm following that hashtag at the top here. So when I'm in my feed, it will, like, don't know if it can hear me, but it's immediately, I'm not following Sloppy Joes in Carmarthen, but because I am following the hashtag Carmarthen, I am seeing their posts in my feed because they've used the hashtag Carmarthen. So whilst they're not the be all and end all that they used to be, they are still certainly useful for finding people of interest or connecting with new people and getting found. So I would still use them, but perhaps not make so much of a big deal of them as you used to, thinking about swapping them out, swapping them in, and all those kind of things. Use ones that are relevant and are going to help you, and follow relevant hashtags to you so that you can find new posts at the same time.
Right. Don't put your phone away, because we've got a question here. How do you switch to entrepreneur category? Can you just show us that quickly?
I will try to remember. So it will be, is it on? Yeah. So to change your profile, it's the hamburger menu, and it will be in, she wants to say, settings. Maybe it's even in edit my profile, actually, thinking about it. It's in edit my profile. I don't want to create an avatar right now. So here we go. So I went to edit profile, which is directly underneath my bio. Clicked on insights bar error. And I have down here my category. And I've literally, rather than choosing like digital marketer, selected entrepreneur. And it may not bring it up straight away. And then what you do then, if you don't want that displayed on your profile, can you see I've got taken off display category label, which then hides that. And then all you would do then instead is in your profile, on your name, you say what it is you do. And you've actually got a lot more characters than you used to there. So you can say, I don't know, Carmarthen shop selling dog food, for example, or whatever you are. So your category can go in there instead to help you with your keyword search being found.
Right, and we've got a question about voiceovers. How to do the voiceovers. I couldn't see the button. Can you just explain which button that is?
So if I come in to just publish a random reel, and I'll just record small clip. So I've got a clip. So I now go up to music, the music icon at the very top. And I've got the options. I'm going to bring down camera audio. So that's the camera audio. That's the video that you've got there. I can add sound effects if I really wanted to, like a doorbell or an air horn or something like that. I've never used those, but you might if it's relevant to what you're making. I've got music, so I can select music, but the very bottom, I've got voiceover as an option. And that is then literally where I press the big record button to record over the video. So if I press that now, here I am recording video audio. And if I want to play that back, here I am recording video audio. And I can, if I want to do a mix of music, voiceover, I can bring the voiceover down and bring the music up. So, here I am recording video audio. See what I mean? So now I've got a background track, really hipster, underneath it as well. But it's not so loud that you can't necessarily hear my voiceover. And then you would just click done. I'm recording video audio. Here I am recording video audio. Let me stop that because that will get really annoying. There you go.
Great, thank you for that. Have we got time for probably one or two more questions if they're fairly concise? So either raise your hand or is that a legacy hand, Sarah, or is that a new question?
Hello, a new question. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, do you know, basically, unless I'm reading it wrong, the difference between just posting a video then and a reel is the fact that you can do all these extra gimmicky things to it, whereas with video you're quite limited, is it?
Yeah. So if you're going to upload a video, I would still upload it as a reel if it's vertical and it will fit into that dimension, because you're going to benefit from the algorithm of the reel.
Would you post it as a story, as you know, a post as well as a reel, or
you can share your reels to Instagram stories? So I would create it as a reel, so you're getting that exposure to further accounts, and then share your reel to Instagram stories. So I think on my stories, for example, I shared my last reel, and of course they're for 24 hours, and if you don't cover up the reel, that will still count as a view. So it's going to push it the more people watch it. So it's worth doing that. To share it to a story, all you do is you click on that share and then add reel to your story, and you can share other people's reels that way too.
Righto. And then just posts then would be better as sort of static photographs and things like that.
Yeah. I find the two things that are really helping with engagement on Instagram at the moment are Instagram reels and carousel posts, you know, the ones that you swipe through.
Right. And one other question, you know, when you said you could share it to Facebook as well, you know, previously, you know, you've said things like maybe try to do different content with Facebook and Instagram. Does that like have a detrimental effect then if you do that with Facebook? Or
to be honest, I'm not sure how many people watch Instagram reels on Facebook, and out of all the people that I've been following on business, I have never seen an Instagram reel from someone that I'm following on Facebook. And if I look at my stats, the reach on Facebook with reels is much lower anyway if I go to my insights. So I'm not going to create Instagram reels directly on Facebook because I don't think it's worth my time. So that is the one occasion where I will potentially push it and just see if it gets any more traction. But it depends on if your audience is first and foremost on Facebook, you might want to create reels there first and then save them and push them to Instagram the other way around.
Okay, great. Thanks very much.
We've got time for one more, which is Catherine. Go ahead, Catherine.
Hi, thanks. That was great. Thank you. Yeah, my question really was just about, you know, can you get insights then for reels? Because with stories, I've never really been able to kind of track, you know, how well they've gone down, etc.
Yeah, so it's still fairly limited. And I'm very much experimenting with timings and things like that. Is it going to come up on? There we are. So when you go into your insights, which is under your edit profile, there is a whole section for reels, and you can see your stories, but of course you've got to look at it within 24 hours pretty much, haven't you? So if you go into reels, I can then look at, okay, so which reels have had the most play, so which have been the most successful in terms of views, but also perhaps which get the most comments. So I can then say, well, what type of reels am I creating that get the most comments? And I can look by all these different things. So like, okay, is it useful for people to save my reels, which for some of mine, where there's tutorials and templates, that is more useful to people. So actually someone saving my reel is a good indicator of if they're engaging with it and found it useful. So already look, there's 2 saves on the one that I've created today, for example. So you can then go in and see. I think what is useful for you to do is to play around with timings and publishing to your feed and not publishing to your feed and see what happens and look at how many plays and interactions they're getting. So yes, you can to some extent. They're not that advanced, but it is definitely helpful than no insight at all.
Brilliant, thank you.
Super, thank you very much. We're right up against time now, so we've very much filled the hour. Just a final couple of things to wrap up. In terms of future workshops, June is going to be HR month for these sessions, so the Power Hour and the Startup Enterprise Club. So Steve's just put in the chat very quickly. Steve, do you want to just give a quick overview about the next Startup Enterprise Club?
Yeah, very quickly. I've put the the links in the chat. So 9th of June, we're having Susan Cullen from Evolve HR coming in to do a session on hiring and recruitment best practice. Although it's under the banner of Startup Enterprise Club, it will benefit established companies as well who are looking to improve their recruitment and are in the market for hiring some employees. So please join. And there's the next one then, the next Business Power Hour is on the 29th of June, and it's HR employment law. Very important when employing staff. Lots of different nuggets of information there that you really need to know, and that's going to be with Paul Shuttleworth from DJM Solicitors. I'll put the link in now.
Great, thanks, Steve. And then one final thing from me. In the next week or so, we're going to be circulating around our business needs survey, and that's really important that people like you complete that, because whilst we're doing these sessions, we need to hear from you in terms of what you think future business support looks like. So do you want more of these sessions, less of these sessions? We've clearly got a decision to make about whether and to what extent we do these sessions in person going forward. So if you can look out for that in the next sort of couple of weeks or so, we very much appreciate your cooperation in completing that, because it will shape the future of these and other sessions that we run at the same time. So obviously you'll receive details of that, because by definition you'll be on our email list. But again, strongly encourage you to complete that. So we're a couple of minutes over. Apologies for that, but useful content all the same. Thanks again to Rebecca for today's session. The video will be, say, on our YouTube channel beginning of next week, I think, realistically. So if you wanted to go back and watch that, or indeed any of the other content that we've done over the past few months, please go back and watch that. So thanks again to Rebecca, and thank you all for attending today. Hope you found it useful. Thank you.